Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's an absolute pleasure and honor for me to talk to you today and share some wisdom, and I hope food for thought that you can take home with you. First of all, can I just ask you to get up? Like my kind doctor said, just get up, please. And while you're up here, I just want you to turn around and look at your friends here from all over the world and see whether you can see whether there's anyone here that look closely like you or represent an element of you. And if you can find that, you can stand for the whole presentation. If not, thank you very much. You may be seated. I want to start my presentation off by talking about uniqueness. We are all born absolutely unique and uniquely gifted. But the strange thing of that is, as we go through life, instead of standing out in the crowd, as that umbrella represents there, we spend the rest of our life, and most of our employees, and the people that we come in contact with on an ongoing basis, trying to fit in, to conform to whoever standards they've been molded to accept as being acceptable. And that is one of the challenges that I had and have constantly had in my life up to now. I am extremely passionate about what I wish to share with you, because I believe I have found an answer to a lifelong question of how to do things. Because wherever and whenever I buy an educational book, whoever may have written it, I find the what in there, but hardly ever do I find in there the how. Maybe the how is what we keep back to create a uniqueness, the IP in ourselves, so that we are the guru and need to share our wisdom with the world, but just not enough. Almost like a learned friend said at the table just now, martial arts, they won't teach you everything, because if they teach you everything, you may become your teacher's master. So we're going to be careful of that. So my presentation is all about vision with imagination. And I share again with my Dr. Rakesh. We are talking about the future. Okay? Wisdom with vision with imagination. And I believe when I look at the bottom, maybe too low, the clearer your dreams, the closer they get. In other words, the clearer our vision becomes, the easier it is to live by them. And, for that matter, move into the future. I was privileged enough to meet up last year through the internet, LinkedIn, with two masters, Lisa and Moritz from Holland, who is a part of the Sage Prosperity Partners out of Colorado. That's where Lisa is based. To teach me a couple of principles that gave me the answers I was looking for. The wow I was always looking for. That how. So that I can ask the question why and move to the how and not dwell and spend any time in the what. My name is Bertie le Roux, and I was introduced. I'm actually from the southern tip of Africa, South Africa, proud South Africa, and our flag is hanging up here, multiple choice flag, the Rainbow Nation as we are known now. So very proud to say that, and I even felt even better when the opening, the video clip was played about the circle of life. Because the circle of life is an extract of a movie that was shot in South Africa, The Lion King. And The Lion King was done around about 25, 26 years ago, and I was privileged to be in the audience when it was first screened in South Africa, because it is part of a petroleum company called Engen's marketing campaign. And there's so many lessons that come out of that. But one of the most fantastic things about it, it just showed you what is also available in South Africa in terms of animals and fauna and flora. So I'm proud of my country. Thank you very much for allowing me to share that with you. So I want to move directly into 3 disciplines of thought, which I was taught. Disciplines of thought, and the 3 I will be addressing will be overview, insight, and foresight. So as per the previous slide, the eagle has the benefit that he can see 360 degrees and it's up there in the sky. He's got no limitations, nothing. But the eagle has also got the ability to absolutely focus on his prey down on the ground there. So he can fly up there, total freedom, not bound by anything, but he can also focus. So when we talk about overview, that is what I'm saying, where I'm taking myself away. So I want you to, just for a split second, imagine your wildest vision or dream. Just get it in your mind. The wildest possible, or for that matter, the impossible. I facilitated a strategic session a couple of weeks back with an IT company in Pretoria, where I come from. I shared these principles with them, and I found it extremely difficult. And one of the earlier speakers were trying to find whether there's any left-handed people in the audience. So he was struggling to find any right-brain people, in other words, in the audience. But I sat there with a bunch of engineers, IT specialized people, qualified, who found it extremely difficult to move from where they grounded. Because as a transformational coach, I cannot help you. You have to have the courage to make the move, the first step. But then you need to take ownership that you want to and have the desire to change and be better. So that's one of my challenges. And I had the challenge with them. And I said to them, guys, go up in space. Free yourself from the reality down here. Free yourself from the reality down here. Don't live with that. Create your own vision that is impossible. They said, but how can I create a vision that's impossible? I said, yes, I'm challenging you. What if that impossible vision of yours could be true? What if just a portion of that could be true? If we then move into that space, we can find answers. How can I make it true? And how can I create that? So all of a sudden, by moving away from this in space, no limits, just like the eagle, we created a vision for the company, which was impossible for them to challenge. It is not a vision created from where we are. It's a creation for where we want to be, where we created our dream. And in HR and in the environment that we all play, that's part of the challenges that we have all the time. I've heard a lot this morning already about jobs and job creation and the insurity of that. I prefer to move more often into an area where I'm saying, I don't want to talk about jobs. As a professional that is assisting people with their careers and their futures, I want people to share with me their careers and therefore share with me their dreams, where they're going to. Because if I just employ people to jobs, what I may end up is having a lot of people in jobs going nowhere. And they stopgaps. So I need to get rid of them to get growth into the organization, because at the end of the day, if my ability is this job, as they say in Peter's principle, we can promote people to the level of their incompetence. So we must be careful about that as well. Do they apply to my company to create a career for themselves and see my company as their future? Because then I can invest with them. I can spend money on them. Because then I'm not just growing people to lose them tomorrow. Okay, so I've just put a couple of words down here. I don't want to go in there because spend some time. I will leave you at the end of my presentation with a website where you can communicate with me and we can discuss these principles further. But the whole concept is, I want you to imagine that impossible vision. Personal life, business, careers, whatever. And then instill it in your mind. And if you have a problem with that, challenge yourself and say, what if? Because there's nothing wrong in having dreams even around what ifs. So once you've got your vision clear, then we move to the next principle of thought, which is insight. Maybe a bit of a more challenged one in terms of insight, because really what insight entails is I'm looking inside. I'm turning my eyes inside, and I've heard even in the talks this morning already, different presentations that I've attended, where people are actually addressing those points. Talking about insight, talking about looking who I am. Because now my imagination will take me to, and I want you to split a second again on spend on that. Just imagine for yourself the absolute job, position, career that you've always dreamt of, that you've reached it. Just imagine that for a second. I have never imagined, thank you, I've never imagined that I will stand here in front of you guys today. I mean, I'm actually, as we call it in our country, I'm actually Afrikaans speaking, a boereseun, a farmer boy. Okay, that struggle to speak English. You know, as we said in South Africa, we use English for self-defense only. Okay, but you know, here I am today. I'm extremely proud of having achieved that. And I might share with you, in 2 weeks' time, I'm 65. It took a long time. But my passion has also become my purpose. And that is something I would like you to write down and keep in mind, and saying, I say that prosperity, at the end of the day, is equal to passion plus purpose. And that prosperity can be defined as anything. Preferences, not necessarily money. But so often, even in situations where we have the people that take up jobs, they take the job because they need the money. And if prosperity is first in this equation, your passion, your purpose sort of disappears. You've got to have passion, you've got to have your purpose that creates the prosperity, and no other way around. So, if we talk about insight then, we're saying, I can imagine this absolute dream job, dream situation. But then the question is, how can I get there? How can I define that? How can I clarify that? And I can get to that. So in the words, one of the most important words here for me is transfused. Because we have been instilled, and if you don't see yourself as part of that, I'm saying I've been instilled with a lot of things and beliefs that people put on me. I've got my own set of values and beliefs. But since I've grown up, people were telling me what to do and what not to do. If I listened to the doctor that looked after me when I broke my hip when I was 16 years old, his prognosis was at 25 I will be permanently on crutches. If I listened to him, I wouldn't be here, standing and walking around, and having played provincial sport. So those people they're professionals, they probably know better, but lots of people tell us what we should do. And we allow it. We internalize it, and at the end of the day, we lose the ability to be ourselves. We lose the ability to imagine what I am capable of. Those God-given gifts that I was given when I was born. And many of us go through life, never find them. Never identify them. So we end up just going along. And if people ask you, what are your goals? What's your passion? Where are you going? I'm working towards retirement, 65, I'm retired. My 65 is the next challenge. My 60 was another challenge. My 50 was another challenge. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to rewire, but I'm not going to retire. Okay. So, when we talk about transfusion, I'm saying in order to be able to live through and understand insight, it means a transfusion. Go and get your blood pumped out of your body. Let's get rid of all those things that people said about us. That's not good. That's wrong and it's bad. Because we internalized it and said, I can't do it because I can't do it. No, I can't start. No, because. Our whole life was because. Who are they to tell me what I can and can't do? So get the transfusion. Get it out of your system. Get that bad blood out and get new blood in. Believe in yourself. Be yourself. Identify the potential that's inside here. And as a transformational coach, that's one of the biggest challenges. That's why we talk about courage. It's for people to really be able to delve in deep into the emotion and saying, I am better than everybody is telling me. I'm actually a fantastic human being. I should be out there creating clones of myself. Then the world will be a better place. I'll move in. The last principle of thought is foresight. So now I want you've thought about that vision, that impossible one, that you've challenged, clarified a little bit, molded a bit, with a what-if question, got rid of the bad blood, and realized who is the person inside here, the true me, invincible Superman. Foresight, the different element. Now you want to see, because foresight is going to take you to your vision. Now I want you, for a second or two, see that future that you've created through this vision. In your mind's eye, just go and see it. Live it, feel it for the next couple of seconds. Thank you. Glad you're still awake. You know, if I started off by saying, if your vision is clear enough, you can bring it to the here and now. And I absolutely passionately believe about it. I believe that fact. Because we create so many obstacles for ourselves. Other concept that I talk about and probably talk about and is on my webinars and so forth is beyondership. And that word doesn't exist in the dictionary. The dictionary only talk about beyonder, what is on the other side, concept. But beyondership is almost going further than management and leadership. It is going beyond in the impossible. Other people will stop there. Because we see the horizon, that's why we talk about the eagle. The eagle doesn't see the mountain as an horizon, because he sees on the other side of it. He sees beyond, and he lives beyond. Almost, he lives beyond the obvious. But most of us stop when we reach the end of the road. We can't even take one of the two when there's a fork in the road. So that's the end. We turn around and say, there's no more way to go. I'm going back. I know that. Comfortable there, happy. I'll just stay with it. So the whole concept of foresight is to align yourself and to be cognizant of your possibilities. And then go out and you control time. Because you move in the principle of foresight. You move into the future and you start living. You're living that future of yours. So you've created it in your mind. Now you're living it. So you're living it there and you're living it here in real life. And you bring them together because you are in control of time. And if you think through these things and nothing brings it clearer when you do a strategic planning with a team. And that strategic planning can be with us as an HR team as well, with our team of people. Because if you take them with you and you've got them positive, seeing your dream. I mean, when this company said to me, Bertie, now we must go through the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, I said, that's old tacky. That's old story. Just create the impossible dream. And we start working, I want to get there. Don't tell me what we'll be doing. That's all tacky. There's no chance in business today to move along with times. You need to jump ahead of time. Therefore, create your own future for your company, for yourself. And through these principles, overview, insight, and foresight, I honestly and sincerely believe, as simple as it may sound, that is possible. And that's what I wanted to share with you. If all time is relative to now, then it is possible to bring the future here somehow. If you just spend some time and think about it, nothing is impossible. Chinese talk about that being a dangerous opportunity. So let's embrace it, let's grab it, let's share it with whoever, take it out of the world. That's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much. So I just want to say, from here on, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you want to know more, learn more, experience more of what the principles of thought is all about, on Master, you can join me. You can join me in some of the mastermind groups that we create. As I said, the representative that I am for the SAGE Prosperity Group, we are out there supporting our teams and supporting the likes of yourself. Draw in those wisdom, simple enough. Any questions? Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody. Any questions?